Now, Hollywood is just in such an horrifying downward spiral, it's insane. So Pedro Pascal is promoting the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, which no one cares about, by kissing Stephen Colbert on the mouth. For many online, the moment immediately became meme material, but it also raised another question entirely. How exactly is this helping promote the Mandalorian and Grogu to mainstream Star Wars audiences? This is just a meme every time. Behold, our newest campaign! Are you sure this will help us sell more Star Wars? Star Wars? And this is Hollywood now. This is Hollywood now. We are going to make it fake, and we are going to make it gay, and it's going to be crazy. All right, we got to look into this Odyssey situation. Sydney Watson just made an entire video on it, and I've been more focused on the geopolitics and less about the horrible, retarded trans shit going on, being shoved down everyone's throats because they're trying to castrate your children and make you gay. No, it's just right-wing propaganda. Oh, yeah? Is it going to be right-wing propaganda when we open up the camps? Oh, you thought we forgot about that? Trump's going to kill you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That was a joke. That was a joke. I'm kidding. Or am I? Before getting too deep into the chaos, free cash was promised to me 3,000 years ago. One thing I recently added to my daily routine is using free cash for a few minutes here and there. If I'm gonna play games as a time sponge, I might as well make some money out of it. Free cash is a fun and easy way to earn real money by doing simple tasks while already on your phone. Play games, complete surveys, do simple tasks, and turn your bathroom break into an investment. I've been enjoying playing Call to Dragons on free cash, a high payout strategy-based building game. You get instant payouts with a really easy process through PayPal, Amazon, or Visa. There's already over $250 million paid out to over 60 million users worldwide. It's a win-win. They get someone to test out their games and fill out their surveys, and you get paid. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to sign up and get a $10 bonus today. Now, back to the chaos. Every individual sign up literally supports the channel, so if you could click the link in the description and do the thing, that would be very appreciated.
And familiar with some of the weird happenings around this upcoming Odyssey film directed by Christopher Nolan. I think the film is going to be in theaters in July of this year, if that
is gonna be bad.
The Odyssey, for those who don't know, being the epic Greek poem written by Homer around the 8th century BC or BCE, for those of you who prefer that terminology. It is the sequel to the Iliad, and without getting too into the nitty-gritty of it, it follows the story of Odysseus on his journey home after the Trojan War. I am positive I'm going to butcher all sorts of names making this video, and I'm sorry in advance. Now, normally, I would be really—
We gotta do this deep dive. There's retards to be made fun of. I smell the retard blood in the water. We gotta kill them. God, I love the fact that everyone's universally rejecting this. The modern culture has shifted so much that we're just tired of it. We're tired of making believe that retarded women are actually men. All right, we're tired of making believe that these historical white people are actually black people. We're just tired, man. If historical figures can be transracial, then I don't know why white people can't say the N-word. Right? You explain that one to me.
Really excited about
white people could literally be black on the big screen, but you can't say a little word, please.
Set in ancient Greece, because I'm sure, like many of you, I think about ancient civilizations a lot. The Roman Empire is my Roman Empire. But it seems like over, honestly, the last week or so, absolutely every single new thing I learn about this movie just goes from bad to worse, and I don't think in recent memory I have disliked something so viscerally before I'd even seen it. I think the last time this happened to me was Snow White. It's worth noting that a lot of the confirmed information about this film is coming from a very recent article published in Time magazine, where the writer interviewed Christopher Nolan. So, as of May 12, it has officially been confirmed—
Bro, no one named Lupita Nyong'o was anywhere near Greece, ever, okay? We've got to stop doing this, man. We've got to stop doing this.
The most beautiful woman in all of Greece, Helen of Troy.
It's like, this is such cope. This is such insane cope. Please, most beautiful woman, like, let's be honest here. Is it racist to say that literally no one is fucking buying this?
Will in fact be played by a black woman called, and I'm gonna butcher this, Lupita
Yeah, don't even try.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to say this. It has an apostrophe in there.
Apparently, bro, that's not a name that should be in our country. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm on YouTube. Please cut me some slack.
This woman will play two characters in the film, Helen and Helen's sister. I love that there are no Greeks in major roles in this film, if there are any at all, but we have one woman playing two characters who are sisters but not twins, and neither of whom are black.
Wait, no shot! You're joking. You're actually kidding me. Oh my god, that's bad.
There's so much about this that is a problem, and I don't even know where to begin. For comparison's sake, and I'm not sure how useful this is, in the early 2000s film Troy, Helen of Troy was depicted like this. The 2026 version, well, she's homely.
Bro! Bro, socioeconomic conditions, bro.
Like it. Otherwise, you're
You've got to be shit. This is the most beautiful woman alive. Listen, man, we don't need to do this, bro.
I already know, because I have been doing this for 7,000 years at this point, that people are going to argue that there are no physical descriptions of Helen of Troy in the Iliad or the Odyssey, which is somewhat true. Yes, we don't know her exact hair.
Bro, it's a Greek woman. It's not Lupita Nyong'o, okay? Well, are we being serious?
Hair color, because descriptions
Also,
of
she's supposed to be beautiful. What are we doing?
colors in ancient Greece have a range, but we can confidently say that it was light in color, either blonde or a lighter shade of brown. We also know that her eyes were blue or gray, similar to Athena's, and we also know for certain her skin color because she's described as having smooth or pale white arms. I promise you that Homer was not writing about a sub-Saharan African woman. I think it's fair to say that Homer was writing about people who look like him, and if he wasn't, he probably would have specified. I wish he had, but obviously he didn't foresee the problems that we would have in 2026. Although
Fair.
I can foresee some of the problems that some of you are going to have with relation to smoking and vaping.
Bro, this is absolutely miserable. And I know that a lot of liptards are going to be mad at me for saying this, but, like, there is a solution. Like, you could kill yourselves. I'm not suggesting you should. I'm just saying it's on the table, all right? In a nihilistic hellscape where we are just molecules of atoms of carbon whizzing about the universe in an endless void of nihilistic bullshit, why not just kill yourself? I was going to tell them to stop breeding so that we could eventually overtake them, but they're not doing that anyway. They're just like the most miserable people on the face of the planet. Obviously, I'm joking. Thou shalt not murder includes killing yourself. Unless, of course, you don't believe in that. All right, let's make fun of some retards.
Moving right along to more stupidity, on May 6, 2026, a Greek man called Homer Pavlos, which I think is so funny considering the topic of this video, he tweeted that Travis Scott, the rapper, will play the role of a Greek poet in Ithaca who will sing the story of Troy. Troy being an ancient Greek city and central to the story about the Trojan horse, which I'm sure all of you...
This is honestly insane. Like, we take it for granted now that Hollywood is just going to make everything gay and shit, but this is crazy.
...are familiar with. The post goes on to explain that
Scott... they hate your culture so much. It's absolutely insanity. All right, to everyone saying, well, it's just a color of skin. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't change anything. It does. It absolutely does. They hate you and your culture, and every single one of their policies and artistic decisions points at that. They'll celebrate when you're killed, for crying out loud.
Will apparently sing the story here with trap music in the background. Trap music, for those who don't know, sounds like this. Personally, I have never been a raver. This makes me want to throw up and cry. Anyway, similar to the Helen of Troy thing, this Travis Scott information is now confirmed. During his interview with Time...
Miserable! It's miserable. Just miserable.
Magazine, Christopher Nolan said that he cast Travis Scott in the Odyssey because he wanted a nod towards the idea that this story has been handed down as oral poetry, which is an analogy to rap. No, it is not. I find this little tidbit quite interesting because apparently, according to the same...
It's complete insanity. It's absolute insanity. We are living among retards that hate us.
Article, apparently Nolan told the film's composer not to use an orchestra in the score because it wasn't period appropriate. The composer is quoted as saying,
but rap is period appropriate, but an orchestra is not. Like it's crazy.
Not like the orchestra existed back then. Oh, but rappers and transgenders did. We're gonna come back to this transgender thing, just you wait. Because this film is being released in 2026, would you believe it, we have even more race swaps. The goddess Athena, also known for her stunning...
Dog, like, what are we fucking doing? She only has one expression! Why is she in every... She's the Pedro Pascal of women. This is insanity.
Beauty will be played by none other than Zendaya.
Oh my god, she's in everything! I'm telling you, they have a couple of robots that they just shovel into everything to be their little propaganda machines.
Yeah, nothing if not looking forward to seeing...
I'm telling you, man, Hollywood is probably the most effective CIA op in the history of the world. Ever. Like, not even exaggerating. These people have raped the mind of generations.
Her one facial expression at work. We also have the assumption floating around that actress turned actor, as a result of the snippy snip, Elliot Page will be playing Achilles. Oh, again, for those who aren't familiar, Achilles is a Greek hero known for his strength and extreme fighting skills. See that? He actually has a penis.
True.
This role was previously played by Brad Pitt in the 2004 Troy, and boy does he look good. In the Odyssey, Achilles is a ghost, and I think that fact adds an even worse layer to this potentially absurd...
Well, I mean, to be fair, she is 42% chance that she will also be a ghost. That was rude.
casting choice. Portraying one Greek myth's most iconic masculine warrior as a ghost played by a biological woman who identifies as a man is really quite a choice. I mean, clearly this is the person to exude strength and masculinity. Why would they pick anybody else?
What has brought me the most joy? The most joy. It's, you know.
I fear
that is bad. So bad. Cutting myself. I get joy when I think about Republicans going into a giant Hague. The Republicans going into gulags makes me very happy. No one is illegal in stolen gulags. So when I bought my penis on eBay, the winning bid was less than I anticipated, and that was a little thing that made me happy. The Trump administration won't even let us hang our pedophile flags in public anymore. That's not true. You will be able to hang as many of your pedophile flags as you would like in the trans concentration camps that we're in the middle of building. I'm joking. Those aren't in construction yet. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I mean, it would make society literally a paradise, but I'm kidding. I'm joking.
We are being asked to lean a little bit too heavily into the suspension of disbelief. Further speculation here is that Paige will actually be playing Hermes, which still—
That doesn't make it any better! It's like, oh no, he's not gonna be a demigod. We're gonna make this this fucking retard a god. Oh yeah, way better!
Sucks for all of the aforementioned reasons. Or, and I have seen this in the last couple of days, apparently Paige will be playing Elpenor. Sorry if I butchered that. This is someone who is the youngest member of the Odysseus ship crew who dies an insignificant death on Cirque's Island.
I think that makes sense, because 42% of transgender people do die insignificant deaths.
Regardless of who this person is or isn't.
Again, a lot of people think that I hate transgender people. I don't. I pity them. I pity them that they have a mental illness and society told them that actually they should affirm their mental illness. And then almost half of them kill themselves. I pity them. I really do.
In this film, I think this is such a weird decision, especially given that there's so—
What a weird decision. I can't possibly figure out why they would want to promote this slop.
Many actors who could have played any of these male roles. And you know what, lads? You should be damn offended that this role is going to a biological woman. You know, you guys should have had the opportunity to play your own sex. This is thievery of the highest regard. I think—
Yeah, Hollywood notoriously loves the male sex.
Probably one of the most egregious things about this is there is a lot—
it gets worse?
Of speculation that Nolan's script was guided by a left-wing feminist writer called
I heard
Emily
about
Wilson,
this.
who actually translated the Odyssey in
Oh
2017.
no! Who translated the Odyssey as like some sort of woke reimagining of the Odyssey. I heard about this. There's no shot this is real.
Her translation, are you surprised? She apparently reframed Odysseus very critically. She downplayed the heroic actions, I guess, of characters, and instead highlighted female characters' agency, suffering, and moral complexity. Some lines and imperative choices are accused of smoothing over ambiguities in ways that align with 21st century gender politics, and I have actually seen this criticism of her a lot. So with this in mind, the important information here is that Nolan has apparently name-dropped this woman's work in interviews while discussing the project. In a now-deleted post, Empire Magazine's editor-in-chief said that Nolan name-checked and quoted from Emily Wilson's translation. People took this to mean that Nolan was saying that this translation is the one that he preferred. The editor-in-chief had to quickly clarify that Nolan didn't outright say that Wilson's translation was his favorite, he just name-checked it while discussing Odysseus's character. But I mean, you know, come on. Those of us—
Bro, what are we even talking about? Oh, I love video games. Anyway, Anita Sarkeesian is one of my favorite people of all time. It's like, you know, like, come on. Like, what are we even talking about? Yeah, I love America. Like Obama. Yeah, I like superheroes like Homelander.
Who are good at pattern recognition have seen this sort of thing play out before. Christopher Nolan might have a stupid, but the rest of us don't. It shouldn't really be surprising to any of you given this information, but I have seen speculations floating around online that this might be taken in a weird sort of feminist girl boss direction, and that this film will deliberately stomp on the manliness of what this story is.
You mean to tell me that Hollywood might try to make some sort of girl boss character and stomp on the testicles of actual Giga Chad males of history? They've never done this before, so I am so shocked and appalled.
This poem is, and I can't help but feel like maybe there's something to that. Anne Hathaway, who plays Penelope, the wife of Odysseus and the queen of Ithaca, said that her character in the film is full of fury. Oh god.
How are they doing this again? How are they doing this again? Haven't they learned their lesson? The answer is no. The answer is infinite CIA funding and propaganda to the Hollywood sphere to push their agenda to mutilate a generation. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. I'm telling you, man. If you're dating a girl and she likes Marvel movies, just break up with her. It's over. It's actually just over.
Time magazine piece, Hathaway said, there's this impression of Penelope that she's kind of the picture of modesty. She's the picture of patience. And I said, Chris, she's referring to Christopher Nolan, if I'm not mistaken, you've written someone who is full of fury and you seem to be implying that she's actually Odysseus's equal. I don't know how many of you know this, but this is actually the second time.
This is like so tiring because I view a husband and a wife ultimately as partners, okay? They are partners. Yes, I do believe that the husband is the spiritual leader of the family. Yes, ultimately the husband is supposed to take care and be the giver, and the wife is more of the receiver. And in turn, the wife is the giver to the children. Everyone has a role to play. It doesn't minimize women to say something like this. But when a girl boss is like, oh yeah, actually men and women are equal, they mean equal in brute strength and shit. Like, these people are actually retarded.
In probably the last maybe 6 weeks that Anne Hathaway has pushed her own agenda and viewpoints into a thing that she's been working on. I'm sure a bunch of you saw that clip that was floating around where Anne Hathaway was talking about, you know, The Devil Wears Prada 2 and how she wanted more body types demonstrated in the film and blah, blah, blah.
No, I didn't see that. I didn't see that, but that sounds shit.
Out of her because they're like, you just want to be around fatter women so that you look better. And I don't know, maybe that's the case, maybe not. I just think
women be mean like that. Okay, let's be real. Let's be real. When men want to look good, all right? I'll just be honest. When men want to look good, it's because they do a thing for people. When women want to look good, it's when a good thing happens to them. Like, oh, look at me. I'm so pretty around all of these fucking gelatinous masses. They just genocided an entire box of donuts before coming to play here.
It's interesting that these things are happening at the same time. This is sort of funny to me because I actually studied literature at university and I have always...
Woman degree! Sorry, Sydney. Woman degree! Oh my god! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! They got you too! You managed to escape the Matrix!
The modern interpretation of old text to be kind of irritating, particularly when it comes to women. Homer's Penelope is not an angry volcano person. She is patient and she is intensely loyal.
And the truth is, there is a strength to that too. But in modern society, they want to turn women into men and men into women. They want women to be these explosive, rambunctious, anxious doers, and they want men to be these submissive retards that need to be bailed out of every situation ever because they're fucking retarded and dumb. All right? They are doing their absolute best to feminize the entire culture.
And she's also very strategic in the way that she approaches situations. She's not barreling in and making a big fuss and a big scene. Penelope spends decades waiting for her husband's return and fending off potential suitors, and she does that not with rage, but with intelligence and patience and I guess cunning, although, you know, cunning has a negative connotation, but you know what I'm saying. Not that I want to get too into the weeds on this, but I do think it's really sad that modern Hollywood doesn't really know how to write and explain women to audiences because it's like...
It's not that they don't know how. Well, maybe they don't know how, but it's not that they don't know how. It's that they don't want to. All right, you know, I'll be real here. I've been so red-pilled on the whole idea that this is a CIA propaganda op. The woke Jews that are controlling Hollywood are trying to get you to abort your babies, all right, and not get married. Every show has infinite gay trans people. Like, dog, what are we even doing here? I feel like a lot of people are attributing their decisions to stupidity when it should be attributed to malice. Like I say very often, they're either evil or retarded. It's one of the two, and I'm not here to write off the fact that they might just actually be evil.
Like, there's only two camps. You either get to be the girl boss who's just as good as all the men, and you don't have any struggles and you get Mary Sued into oblivion, or they're the damsel in distress and they suck at everything and cannot do anything for themselves. And I find it so annoying. I find the lack of range that female characters have so annoying. And I think Homer's Penelope is so...
The reality is, Hollywood is butchering a generation of women with this girl boss shit. All right, the men are tired of it. The men see through it. The men are like, this is Hollywood bullshit. We don't care. But a lot of the women are falling for the psyop. And it's heartbreaking.
So much more interesting than whatever this stupid description from the modern film is. But that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that. The last thing that I want to touch on here is actually the film's teaser trailer itself that came out honestly not too long ago. After this specific trailer dropped, the massive criticism, which I find really interesting, is around the use of American accents and for colloquial language to be included in the script like daddy. All of this is especially funny considering that Nolan said that he had once again hired a team of experts to help him make the Odyssey as accurate as possible. What
How are we even taking this seriously? It's as accurate as possible. Transgender Achilles and Black Helen of Troy, as accurate as possible.
precisely is accurate about having a bunch of race-swapped characters, a potential transgender character, rap and hip-hop, American accents, colloquial language, and everything else. What about this is accurate? I would love to know. I know everybody really, really trusts Christopher Nolan's work for whatever reason, but I just feel like every decision that we have come into contact with so far has been designed to cripple this film. A friend of mine made the observation that this movie was probably made entirely with the purpose of winning Nolan an Oscar, and honestly,
yeah,
he's probably not wrong.
I saw that because apparently in order to win an Oscar, you need to like check boxes. Oh, we have our trans character, we have our black character.
Christopher Nolan built his reputation as one of Hollywood's most effective storytellers, giving us films like Interstellar and Oppenheimer. I would add Inception in there, but let's be real, that movie's bizarre and unfollowable. But, you know, at least
Inception was good, and Elliot Page was like a woman at that point that didn't even have a penis.
Age was normal then. I will say that a lot of Christopher Nolan's films do feel like events, even if some of the subject matter has been slightly hard to access. But this Odyssey movie already feels like such a massive failure. And even at this juncture, I have absolutely no idea who this film is for. I think it is extremely well established that people react poorly to race swap characters. They react poorly to a lot of transgender characters kind of just being shoved into storylines.
Understandable. They're retards. They're mentally ill freaks. I'm sorry. Well, yes, people are tired of it. People are tired of making believe that men are women. You know, some people are just tired of making believe. Right? No one's falling for this shit. 90% of people think that men cannot be women. Okay, let's be honest. All right, you got 10% of radicals on the left that don't believe it. And then you got another 40% of people on the left that, you know, I don't think they believe in it themselves. They just say they do because they want to be woke. They think, well, yeah, you're retarded. And then they'll say, yes, honey, of course you're a she, her.
Absolutely no reason. People will, in fact, boycott something if they feel like there's even the slightest chance that it might be pushing a message and pushing politics onto them.
They all do. Hollywood is a CIA op. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. That's why they're all super pro-military and pro all this shit.
What is so sad, at least in my opinion, is that we have once again been promised something that is quite visually nice, but thematically bankrupt. Just added to the long list of cinematic disappointments from the last 5 years. Homer's Odyssey has become one of the most notable and important pieces of literature in Western civilization, and it gives us all sorts of concepts and ideas for exploration. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation here, but we have concepts like Nostris, which is homecoming, Metis, which is cunning, intelligence, loyalty, fate, Xenia, which is hospitality, and for my weird mythology nerds, I'm sure there's more. Sorry that I don't know how to speak Greek. And to be super clear here, the heroes in this story are Greek. The setting is the Bronze Age Aegean, and the ideals reflect a specific people in a specific time. And rather than doing that justice and being thoughtful of that, it seems like Nolan is treating this story as a sandbox for his progressive signaling, and I just think it's gross. What he is doing is claiming that he wants to stay faithful to the original story, which is obviously not true in the slightest. And the thing that actually makes me even angrier about this is that he could have made an adaptation and turned this classic story into something of his own. This has been done before. It's been done well before. Like, for example, the 1996 adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. This took a classic story and moved it into the 90s time period and set it in LA, while still adhering to the original story beats. Although I do have to say that the 1996 version retains the original Shakespearean English, which made it really weird, because people don't talk like this, which I guess actually is similar to inserting different ethnicities into roles and then pretending that it's...
Dude, like, I'm so tired of people making believe that different ethnicities are just like random, completely superficial, homogenous looks. Human beings are not little economic units floating around that could be interchanged super easily. People come from somewhere. People's culture means something. Their history means something. Their ancestors are actually relevant. The idea of diversity is just turning white countries into slop. Notice how there's no diversity of putting white people in Africa. Not that anyone would go. And honestly, that is part of the propaganda. That is what this is all about. This is all about the infinite normalization of the idea that yes, you come from slop, and to slop you shall return. If your roots are uprooted, if your culture means nothing, if your faith is made fun of publicly by every single movie ever, then nothing means anything. Then everything could be anything that anyone can identify as anyone else, and that you hold no value. And if that's true, why are you proud of being an American, of being a Christian, of being a white person, of being anything that has any value to any form of old tradition? It is a gigantic campaign to detach you from your past and bring you into the future as this little nihilistic bot, more than happy to get groomed and molded into whatever they fucking want to.
It's historically accurate. when we all know that it's not. I will say, actually, one of the films that did this really well is the film 10 Things I Hate About You, which is one of my favorites. This is based on The Taming of the Shrew. Hilariously, we had to study that movie when I was in grade 5 or 6 when I was in primary school. So weird. Anyway, I think that film is awesome. I think they did a really, really good job with that. And I like that they kept a couple of these Shakespearean lines in the actual dialogue as kind of a throwback to the OG source material, but they did it in a way that actually made sense rather than Romeo and Juliet, which is kind of inaccessible.
I burn, I pine, I perish.
But here's the thing. Nolan apparently is not doing that. He's making the exact same story and then throwing in a bunch of nonsensical things in order to placate and appeal to the modern audience, which nobody wants and nobody asked for. I'm sure this video by now is very long, so I will wrap up my thoughts here, but I do want to make note of the fact that in the Time magazine article, Matt Damon, who is playing our leading man, was quoted as basically saying that he's really excited about this project and this movie because it's utilizing old film techniques. And when I say old, I mean those utilized sort of before this more modern era, sort of from the
old film techniques. They have slaves again. It's very effective.
2010s onwards. Basically, where films used to use props, they used to film actually on site, and not everything was green screened into oblivion. I don't know how many of you have noticed, but all films today kind of feel the same because most of them are filmed with a green screen.
Yeah, which is why it's all going to get taken over by AI, and a lot of people are crying about it, but it's actually awesome that Hollywood is not going to be able to gatekeep the shit anymore.
So that everything can be added later on, but it lacks depth and character, and the lighting is flat, and it's just kind of not very nice to look at. Whereas old movies sort of have this quality that, you know, they can be grungy, and they can be dark, and they can kind of be moody and fun. And so Matt Damon was basically expressing that that's how this film is being made, and it's awesome. And I actually love that. I think that's awesome.
I mean, I think Christopher Nolan ultimately is a good director, and he knows how to make some good shit, which is why it's so heartbreaking that he's fallen into this slop pit.
I think that's how films should be made, and I wish more films were made like that. And
nope, AI takeover, baby.
I think that for me is just this extra little piece that makes this whole thing so frustrating, because if you're going to all this effort to make this thing visually beautiful and to use awesome techniques to make your movie...
What's he gonna do, say no to the CIA? I'm sorry. I'm so tuned in. I'm so tuned into the idea that this is being done maliciously to destroy our culture.
Why are you ruining it with overt leftism and race swapping and transgender characters and all of these things that are going to take away from a potential masterpiece that could be made? I'm so sad because I would have loved a movie like this. And admittedly, I will probably still go and watch it, but I have a feeling that I'm just going to be frustrated the entire time, as I am with most things that get made during, you know, this day and age. I feel frustrated the entire time, and I wish that showrunners and creators and writers and directors just made better bloody decisions when it comes to putting together their films and television shows for people. People don't want to be preached at. We don't want to have ideas shoved in our faces. We want to actually have a moment where we can step outside of the real world and be somewhere else for a change. I don't have high expectations for this movie. I'm actually very, very, very disappointed with everything that I've seen so far. But, you know, the eternal optimist in me is really, really hoping that it's okay in spite of these facts and these factors.
Yeah, I have zero faith, actually. We'll see what happens, obviously, but I expect it to be slop. This is why right-wing nationalism is coming back, especially from our young generation. It's because we're absolutely tired of being browbeaten, told that we are nothing. We came from nothing. Our history is fake. We should be ashamed to exist. You're not allowed to say the N-word, but you're allowed to blaspheme God in every single TV show ever made. There are a lot of really smart people in charge of the decision-making capabilities from all of this shit, and I will be real with you, I'm leaning more towards the side that it's being done maliciously and for evil purposes than actually just because they're dumb retards that don't know how to write. Because the truth of the matter is, they don't make money on these movies. They know they're gonna get backlash, and they do it anyway. Alright, so let's be honest. Why the fuck are they making that call? We got Jews in Hollywood that are not doing something for the money? Unless they're getting paid billions by, like, George Soros or some shit. Something just isn't adding up. Unless, of course, they're evil and they're trying to destroy our civilization. In that case, everything does add up. They're just evil fucking monsters. But hey, I leave it to you. Let me know if you think they're actually evil monsters. Or if they're just retarded in the comment section below. Remember, these movies with the diversity shit, they all lose money. So why would the Jews make them? Why would they do it? Jews love money. I don't know if you heard. Definitely subscribe. Click the links in the description to all the things. Support me on Patreon. YouTube really does not like my content lately. I cannot possibly figure out why.